Do you live here or not, sir?
I already told you, I do live here.
Okay, because if you don't live here, you're trespassing.
I know that, and I told you, I live here.
Okay. So what's the address that you live at?
Why do I have to tell you that?
Because I don't believe you live here, sir.
And why don't you believe me? Why don't you believe I live here?
Because you don't know the address.
I already told you, I do know the address.
Okay, what's the address that you live?
I don't have to tell you that. I live here. Why are you harassing me?
Okay. I'm not harassing you. Okay?
You're in my neighborhood, coming up to me, asking me what my address is because you say I don't live here. Why don't you believe I live here?
Hey guys, today's video is going to be pretty mind-blowing considering how everything truly is connected. But before we get into the video, I have a few words that I need to say. If you've been following along in my investigation on the Fairfax County Police Department, you'd know that there is something going on here that just does not make any sense. They won't release any of the dash cam footage to me that I've requested on several occasions. They continue to waste my time and gaslight me. They're conducting a fourth investigation now on how my complaint was handled and all the individuals involved. At least that's what they tell me. Because of all these investigations that they are apparently conducting, they aren't willing to release the dash cam footage. They know and I know what's on that video. And the Fairfax County Police Department is willing to do whatever it takes to keep it locked away from the public. For all of these reasons, I'm officially announcing that a lawsuit is in the works. A huge shout out and thank you to Legalize Drugs for helping me file this lawsuit. I thought I could do it all by myself, but I think at this point I need to bring in a good attorney that I can trust and that I know will fight on my behalf. If you have it in your heart to help me carry this out, please donate to my GoFundMe. It will be linked in the pinned comment and in the description of this video and every video that follows. I will continue updating you all as the lawsuit progresses along. Thank you so much for all of your support. With all of that said, please enjoy this insane video.
On the morning of July 16, 2020, Victor Zhang sent me a text instructing me that Detective Darren DeCoster still works for the Fairfax County Police Department. Now, this was shocking news to me, as weeks ago, before I released part 3 of this series, I had been investigating Detective Darren DeCoster on his misconduct in the false accusation and false arrest case that he led against Victor Zhang. At the time, I was told by 2 different people within the department that Detective Darren DeCoster had retired. Now, fast forward to July 16, 2020, I get that text from Victor Zhang. Later in the day, I decided to give the criminal investigation section of the Fairfax County Police Department a call. This is where I suspected Darren DeCoster was working out of nowadays. When I called, Detective Kasey Bush answered the phone.
You have reached the Reston District Station of the Fairfax County Police Department. If you have an emergency... Reston CIS.
Hi, I'm looking for Detective Darren DeCoster.
He is not in right now. Can I leave a message?
Is there a way I can get in touch with him, an email or a phone number that I can reach him directly?
I don't have that in front of me, unfortunately.
But he does, in fact, still work for the Fairfax County Police Department?
He's a member of our department, correct?
Okay, so he works but he works directly with Fairfax County Police Department, but he technically retired, but in some capacity he worked for the Fairfax County Police Department.
I don't know where you got that he retired. I'm not sure where you're getting that information, but I can
So
see
he never, so he was because I know that he was a detective, and when I called weeks ago, I asked for Detective Darren DeCoster, and that's why it's surprising, you telling me that he actually is still working in some capacity for the Fairfax County Police Department, because they told me that he retired. 2 different people told me that, and so I'm curious because I was trying to get a hold of him, and because I thought he retired, I basically gave up my search on trying and hoping to speak with him. But now that I know that he's actually there, I would love to speak with Darren DeCoster. So, and do we know? Can you tell me what he does for the Fairfax County Police Department?
I can't. I'm sorry. I'm not at liberty to to discuss that with you. What's this in reference to?
This is in reference to a case that I want to speak directly with him about. Him, yeah, I have personal business with Darren DeCoster, and if you can't tell me what he does for the Fairfax County Police Department, that's a little odd. Because
Here's what I can do for you, sir. I can take your name and your phone number, and I can pass on the message that you would like him to call you.
okay, great. Well, can I have your name first, please?
Here's what I can do, sir.
Sir, are you failing to identify yourself, a public official for the Fairfax County Police Department? Are you failing to identify yourself? Isn't that in your policy? Hello?
Yes, this face didn't want to identify himself and then hung up on me. Later in the day, I would call CIS back, and this time, Detective Fletcher would answer the phone.
Yes.
Hello, hi. This is Andre. I previously was spoken to a gentleman, and he hung up on me.
You know who you were talking to?
I don't, but you're definitely a different voice, so that's how I know that it wasn't you that did it. It was actually really unprofessional. I was actually trying to get some answers to some of my questions, and then when he asked me to identify myself, I asked him to identify himself. He therefore refused to, and then he hung up the phone.
Okay. Who are you trying to get a hold of?
I'm trying to get a hold of Darren DeCoster. That was the point of my call, but I want to know who this officer was and why he did what he did, and I'd like to file a complaint against him. This happened at around 1:25, 1:26 p.m.
Detective Fletcher was somewhat helpful and would end up giving me his supervisor's number, Lieutenant James Bradshaw. I would call Lieutenant James Bradshaw, but he did not answer me. On July 17th, 2020, after getting Lieutenant James Bradshaw's number, I decided to call Mr. Bradshaw once again. This time, this face answered me.
Hello?
Hello, Lieutenant Berkey? Oh, I'm sorry, Lieutenant.
Number.
I'm sorry, Lieutenant James Bradshaw.
Who's this?
Hi, this is Andre. I've been trying to get a hold of you. So I was finally given your number by Detective Fletcher.
Okay.
Yes. So I just have a quick questions, few questions for you. Regarding Detective Darren DeCoster. So I heard that he had retired. That's what PCA Stewart told me. And then I find out later on that he actually isn't retired and he's working for the Fairfax County Police Department in a different capacity. Is this true?
I'm sorry, you're going to have to reach out to police personnel in regards to that question. I can't answer that question.
I already know that he does. I just wanted to see if you would either tell me the truth or lie to me. Anyways, I know he does. But could you tell me where what department he works at or what his job title is? Hello? He hung up on me.
This is not where this story ends. I did a little digging and found that Detective Kasey Bush has a very shady past. He was involved in a racial profiling case in 2019. What's even crazier is that I actually covered that story on this channel long ago. Unfortunately, it's no longer on my channel, but I'll share with you what happened in that case. Two things you need to know before we get started in the next story. That case is still ongoing, and the victim in that case I actually found recently, and he's agreed to speak with me in the near future. I know, there's so much to unpack in this video, but please bear with me. The individual in this case has asked to remain anonymous. In this video, we'll call him by their YouTube name, Mello. On March 17, 2019, Mello, a young black male, was sitting at a red light as he was headed home from work. As Mello was sitting at the red light, Fairfax County Police Department's Detective Kasey Bush, badge number 4077 of the Reston District Station, proceeded to turn on the same street as Mello. As Detective Bush passed by Mello, the two made eye contact, and Detective Bush made an immediate U-turn in the middle of the street and pulled up behind Mello. As they are sitting at the light, Detective Bush ran Mello's license plates. As the light turns green, Detective Bush does not immediately pull Mello over for a traffic stop, but instead follows him through the light onto the next street over into Mello's neighborhood until he gets to his apartment. At this point, Mello is fearful because he knows he has done nothing wrong, but yet is being followed all the way to his apartment for an unknown reason. So for his protection, he takes out his phone and begins recording.
Hey,
Hey, sir, how you doing?
doing well, how are you?
Hey, good. Hey, do you live here?
I do, yes.
Okay, where do you live at?
In this apartment right here.
Oh, okay. You got ID on you?
No, I don't.
You don't have ID?
Well, I do have an ID, but I do have to show it to you.
You don't have ID on you?
I do have an ID.
Okay.
Do I have to show it to you?
You don't have to. Is this your car?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Is there a problem?
What building do you live in?
This building right here.
What's the address?
I don't have to show you. I don't have to tell you the address.
What's that?
Do I need to tell you the address?
Yeah, what's the address?
Why do I need to tell you my address?
No, I'm asking you what the address is.
But why do I need to tell you that?
Because I'm asking you.
But is there a reason why you're asking me?
At this point, Detective Bush is not able to tell Mello why he followed him and why he believes he does not live there. So one can only assume that Detective Bush is on a fishing expedition. Why would he harass this young man?
Because I want to know if you live here, because if you don't live here...
I just told you I do live here.
Right, but if you don't know the address, it doesn't
But
look like to me
I
like you
didn't-
live here, okay?
And why
I'll
is
be
that?
honest with you.
Why is that?
Whose vehicle is this?
This is my vehicle.
Is it in your name?
It's in my mom's name, it's in my name also.
Okay. How long have you lived in this area?
Do I have to tell you that?
I'm just asking you a question.
Okay, but why are you asking me these questions?
Do you live here or not, sir?
I already told you, I do live here.
Okay, because if you don't live here, you're trespassing.
I know that, and I told you, I live here.
Okay. So what's the address that you live at?
Why do I have to tell you that?
Mello lives in a gated community. Everyone that is permitted to park there has a parking permit in their window. That parking permit is visibly shown on Mello's window. This would have been easily visible to Detective Kasey Bush.
Because I don't believe you live here, sir.
And why don't you believe me? Why don't you believe I live here?
Because you don't know the address.
I already told you, I do know the address.
Okay, what's the address that you live?
I don't have to tell you that. I live here. Why are you harassing me?
Okay. I'm not harassing you. Okay?
You're in my neighborhood, coming up to me, asking me what my address is because you say I don't live here. Why don't you believe I live here?
Sir, I'm not harassing you.
All right,
Okay?
can I have your name and badge number?
You can. Detective Bush, and my badge number is 4077.
Okay. Thank you.
So do you have an ID on you or not?
I do. I already told you I do have an ID.
Okay. What's your name?
I don't have to tell you that. Am I being detained or am I free to go?
You're free to go, sir.
Thank you. You have a good day.
You too.
Thank you.
After the questioning was over, Mello headed to his apartment, but Detective Bush remained and continued watching him.
It's been 15 minutes and he's still sitting there. Now he's moved. He's parked here still watching me.
Detective Bush did not end up leaving until around 5:20 p.m. Mello says he was afraid to go to his apartment because he did not want the detective to follow him. The entire encounter was almost 40 minutes from the time Mello was followed until the time Detective Bush finally left. Mello would file a complaint with the Fairfax County Police Department a week after the incident on May 23, 2019. According to Fairfax County Police Department general orders, the internal affairs investigations take up to 60 days to complete. At the time, it was approaching 5 months starting on October 23, 2019. They also wouldn't release the dashcam footage. The only information that Mello has received is that the investigation was completed on September 23, 2019, but now has to go through multiple layers of review and could possibly be sent back for additional investigation. The investigation has gone well over the 60-day mark, and every time Mello contacts the Fairfax County Police Department, they say they need to extend the investigation time, but they do not give a reason why. Guys, this is literally word for word my own experience with the Fairfax County Police Department. They've taken almost a year to investigate the complaint I made against them. They even use the same verbiage, layers of review. We all know who probably said that crap.
Is that it was submitted initially, but it has to go through layers of each level in the department, and then in the time frame that it was initially submitted to now, there's been a change in format, and there is a change in one of the documents that we use.
And they won't release any of the dashcam footage. This is further proof that the Fairfax County Police Department is a corrupt police department. Look at how they treat the citizens of their county. I'm a one-man team here, guys. I need every person watching this video to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Please help me spread the word. Thanks for watching.